Welcome to everyone. Today, I would like to welcome you all, the many friends, the many colleagues, the family members, and all the well wishers who are joining us here from many parts of Cape Town, as well as South Africa, as well as beyond. Donna knew many people. And today, we cannot be together in person, but we gather online in spirit to celebrate a beautiful life. The life of our beloved friend and our colleague, Donna Gail Fortuin. No words can adequately convey our sadness and distress at the passing of Donna. Her death has been devastating on many. The loss, many are still coming to terms with, not only for our organization, but for the entire social justice sector. For organizations like Legal Aid South Africa, the Family Advocate, the Department of Justice, also the Women's Legal Center, and the UWC Legal Aid Clinic. These are all the organizations that will really feel the loss of Donna. Donna was a crucial member of all of these organizations, and she was a member of a team who worked tirelessly to combat the injustices, inequalities, and the marginalization faced by so many women in our communities in South Africa. Donna dedicated her life to the pursuit of social justice in South Africa, and her absence will be keenly felt by all she knew. Her death will also be a setback of efforts to create an equal and just South Africa. Donna's commitment to the advancement of social justice started way back in 2004. And we all know that Donna did her articles at Legal Aid South Africa, and then thereafter she came to the UWC Legal Aid Clinic where I met her. And this is where she finished up her articles at the University of the Western Cape Legal Aid Clinic. Following this, she dedicated her work to the advancement and the realization of constitutional rights within family law and on the need to promote access to justice for the most vulnerable members of our society, but also to inculcate a sense of justice in the law students which she supervised after she became a lawyer and also what we call a clinician. Donna worked passionately to build capacity in the social justice sector. And it was done in different ways. When she worked for Legal Aid, the Legal Aid Clinic at the University of the Western Cape, she was well known and loved, both as a clinician, as a teacher, as a brilliant lawyer, and just a brilliant mentor. And people could speak to her, students could speak to her. During this time, she went beyond just teaching students the practice of law, but she also inculcated in them an understanding of the need for social justice and why we have to give back to our society and our communities. Due to the extensive expertise that she built up in family law, she was recruited by the Office of the Family Advocate in the Western Cape, and she was a family advocate for 3 years, during which time she worked to protect the best interests of children and their constitutional rights. She was later appointed as the legal attorney within the civil practice of Legal Aid South Africa, where she was tasked with civil litigation, advocacy, and community training. In this role, we all knew Donna. Donna oversaw the paralegals. She had a commitment to outreach in our communities and had a strong commitment to the development of advice officers and the recognition of community-based organization. Donna, when she was at the Legal Aid Clinic, she ran, what they called then the Cape Human Rights Cluster, which was a group of advice officers that was situated within the Western Cape from Klein Willem, the entire West Coast, moved to the Overberg, and those were all the paralegals and advice officers which she catered for. And that commitment you cannot take away. She went to legal aid and she continued doing that particular work. Donna worked directly with community advice officers in the Western Cape, and she assisted them with building in capacity, and also provided much needed legal advice and legal assistance to those advice officers. Donna indicated to me many times that she wanted to, leave the Legal Aid South Africa, and she wanted to commit herself more in the pursuit of social justice, and she wanted to work exclusively with women as well as organizations on the ground. So Donna then joined the Women's Legal Center to run our organization's legal advice unit. She was the perfect fit for the unit. In this role, she worked and supported and strengthened, again, community-based organizations. And during this time, we formalized what we call the Human Rights Defender Program. And the defenders was organized. It's activists that work in communities and provide support to women in those communities in a range of matters: food security, in terms of gender-based violence, divorces, family law. And Donna provided legal services to this particular a cluster of advisors in the community. And Donna had high hopes of using this role to increase access to justice for the marginalized groups as part of the center's team. And we are really devastated by her passing. But we know what was a commitment, and we will continue doing the work that she has set out to do. On a personal level, we all know Donna. Donna was a kind person. She was a compassionate person. She was hardworking. And for some of us, we also know that she was a no-nonsense person. And she had the most, sometimes, her humor was always, it was intelligent, it was jolly, and she always had a kind word to say. She was cherished and loved by her family, including her parents, Eileen and Pat, her sister Jill, brother-in-law Bruce, and a niece and nephew. They adored Donna. I think everybody adored Donna. The WLC and staff are therefore grateful to have had the opportunity and the honor to work with Donna and to continue doing the work that she so loved. We will honor her memory and dedicate our organization as well as our individual efforts to continue the work and principles that Donna advocated as well as stood for. All I can say to my friend and to my colleague, rest in eternal power, Donna. We will miss you, and we will always remember you. I would like to invite everyone gathered here today to honor Donna's life with a moment of silence and a moment of reflection as we light the candle in commemoration. Let us take this time to reflect on Donna's life, her work, her contribution, and the legacy that she leaves behind. Donna will always be cherished. She will be cherished in our memories, and she will forever live in our hearts.
Hi, I'm Heinz Hotzenberg and I serve as the chairperson of Street Law Society at UWC. Basically what we do is we take the law to the streets and we make the law accessible to those who do not have access to the law. And indeed it was in my capacity as chairperson of this society where I got to meet the beautiful and powerful Donna Fortuin. Donna and I first met virtually through a series of emails, and we finally found the time to meet face to face. And once Donna and I met, we discussed the conditions of our communities and we discussed creative ways to solve these conditions in our community. The minute Donna and I met, we just literally couldn't stop speaking. And the more she spoke about what social justice is and what it meant to her, her eyes seemed to light up, showcasing to us her passion for the people on the ground. Our fellow legal advisor of the Women's Legal Center, Ms. Matros, is also present in the meeting. However, Ms. Matros played a silent role because Donna and I just overpowered the entire meeting and we just couldn't stop speaking about trying to find ways to create a platform to advocate for social justice in our communities. And indeed it is this phrase or term rather which I would define Donna Fortuin. She is the definition of what social justice is and what it should look like. Donna was unquestionably committed to and relentlessly fighting for social justice on the ground every single day of her life. For Donna, social justice was natural, it was intuitive, and she knew that social justice was for the people and by the people, and justice was always only about the people on the ground. There is no doubt in my mind that when Donna woke up every single day of her life, she thought about that woman of color who was subjected to abuse and violence in her home. She thought about those who had no access to basic sanitation and water services. She thought about those who were being violated due to their choice of sexual orientation. She thought about every single one whose rights were violated because they do not have access or proper protection by the law. And Donna woke up and she thought all these thoughts, and I can only imagine that she knew, and in fact she told me that the achievement of social justice is beyond the high court or court proceedings, or it is beyond a formal broken legal system. Donna knew that regardless of your political affiliation or your social standing in life, she said that social justice is achieved on the ground by the people, because the people know on the ground what they are going through, what they are facing, and how things can be turned around for good. She said that we could only achieve this by the people, by independent institutions, and by civil societies. And she pledged her life being that person, being that agent of change and effecting change in our communities. And so today it is with a rather sad heart that I salute the amazing and selfless life of Donna Fortuin. Indeed, Cape Town, the Western Cape, South Africa at large, is poorer without her. And while she and I had so much plans for 2021, her plans and our plans will continue in her name. Her legacy will continue. To her family, the Fortuin family, thank you for sharing the life of Donna with South Africa. She was indeed a blessing to us all. Donna, you were an inspiration. You were a definition, as I've said, of social justice. And you made that definition so perfectly. I am better because of you. Rest in power until we meet again. And if in heaven there is some sort of disagreement, you will surely be the one advocating for change for everyone. God bless.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Stemele. First and foremost, I'd like to send my deepest condolences to the family, to the colleagues, to friends, to people that have known Donna, and for people that Donna has had an impact on in their lives. This is by far the hardest thing that I think that I've ever had to do. But considering that she was not only a colleague to me but a friend, I think that she does deserve a chance for me to say something at this stage about her at the office as well. Donna was a kind-hearted person. Donna was a generous person. Donna would give you breakfast in the morning. She'd give you lunch. She'd rather have some takeout and then give you what she had for lunch if she saw that you were in need, which is what she basically did in respect of all her matters at the office as well. She gave everything. She gave her all in terms of the matters that she dealt with, in terms of the children, in terms of outreach programs. She was actually great at working with children because she had a nephew and niece of her own. So she played a very important role in the office, very intelligent, very helpful. She made sure that she went the extra mile for each and everything. I'm talking about if there wasn't anybody to do consultations on the day, she would be the one willing to assist first, to jump out, to say, I will do it. If we had to do Hague matters, she wouldn't have an issue having to deal with Hague matters, because then she would research the necessary legislation, and she would make sure she would be up till the late. She'll be at the office trying to make sure that everything was in order. If there were meetings to be held, she knew what the answers to all the necessary questions which would be asked during those meetings held on Fridays at the office. Donna was one person that wouldn't like to speak in meetings. However, she would try, if she had an answer or she maybe had a train of thought, what she would do is she would write down something on a piece of page and pass it on to whoever was outspoken during that period. Obviously, I would take the page. She was the life of the office. She was humorous. Oh my word. I don't know. There's a lot that I could say about Donna, because of the type of person that she was, and also the type of person that she has made me become as well. She played a very important role in all our lives, and there are people here in the office that still speak of her and her work ethic. At times she would come in on a Saturday to come work extra hours just to ensure that everything was in order. I remember when she was about to leave, she made sure that she came in late in the evenings. She came in on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, so she didn't have to leave too much work for whoever was about to take after her. She was very she was a jokely person. It was fun having her around in the office, and when she left, it became very quiet, because she was jokes for everything. Even when we were we had to have serious meetings, she would make jokes. She was that type of person. It's not as if she wasn't one of those people that just made jokes because just to avoid maybe answering questions or anything. She knew everything. She was well researched on the law. She was well researched on cases. So even if you had to ask her a question, which would be surprising, even though she's making jokes around in the table or making eyes or doing whatever that is like funny, she would be spot on. That was the type of person that she was. She made sure everybody was happy in office. She made sure that her work was done in a proper manner. That didn't lack at all. And when she left the office, we actually lost one of our best professionals, and also the best person to make us laugh early in the morning, also bring us food, because she loved feeding. And she was also very generous in terms of if you didn't have to worry about not having with Donna around, because she didn't make you feel like as if you are in need. which is why she was very important to the community as well. Because when we went out to the outreach programs and when we went out to see those children who were disadvantaged, she was lively. She interacted with them in a manner whereby they felt comfortable in the environment that we're in, whether we're in Guguletu, whether we're in Elsis River, whether we are in Lotus River. It was the same with Donna. So anybody that knew Donna knew the type of person that she was and knew the type of work ethic that she had. If you didn't know, or if you are unsure, or if you are in a bad space, all you had to do was go knock on Donna's office and she would be willing to assist you, whether it was early in the morning, whether she had a consultation before. She would make sure that she would help you immediately. That is where we went for solace. That's where we went to when you open the door and then you go to Donna's office and you feel like, okay, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. So I do think that everybody that's going to speak about her today, and everybody that is speaking about her in those in the different offices that she's worked in, they know that the type of person that she was, and she was a loss to anyone where she had left. And the legal center is sure to have had been lucky to have her for that period because of the type of person that she was. We have lost a great warrior. She was also a great follower of Winnie Mandela. Winnie Mandela was a role model. So we have lost someone in the community. We've lost someone in our lives, in our family lives, in our friends. But I do hope that you continue the work that she has already started, whether in our personal lives or in our work lives. And that's all that I think I am limited to say at this stage.
Hi, this is Suzette Rubain from Legal Aid South Africa, Athlone Local Office. I want to thank the Women's Legal Center for convening this online tribute on behalf of Donna. Donna was our civil legal manager. It was lovely working with Donna because she was kind, she was generous, she was loving. Never would a day start with Donna not giving you a cup of coffee, telling you to relax, and also throwing a joke at you. And at the same time, while you're sitting and relaxing and having a cup of coffee, she will start the day off with doing a first case discussion and talking about the next case that we're going to do. Donna was passionate about her work. She was in particular passionate about women and children and vulnerable groups. Donna loved evictions in particular. She would always find herself with the biggest evictions, and we would tell Donna, listen, Donna, we don't have hands to do the work. How are we going to get through this matter? There are 600 respondents in the matter. There's no way that we can pull through and do this case. And Donna would always say to us, if we don't help them, who will help them? We are the only hope. So Donna would go through great lengths to help the clients. She would put us in a taxi. We would walk through the community if we have to. We would go from door to door. We would go through different settlements to talk to clients, to get instructions, to assist them. There wasn't any problem or challenge that was too big for Donna. In any event, she was a solutions person. If you had a problem, she would focus more on finding the solution than on the problem itself. Donna loved a challenge. She loved to assist clients in any possible way. Sometimes clients would come to our offices and they won't have taxi fare to go home, and Donna would be the one coming around and saying, listen, there's a client here, how can we assist the client? If it's really necessary, Donna would even hand or give food parcels or buy food for the clients. Donna was very passionate about her clients. She was also very passionate about her colleagues. Her words to us would always be that we will have many clients through the years, but our colleagues will stay our colleagues until death. And for that reason, she maintained very good relationships with her colleagues, and she always motivated us to do the same. Donna loved her team and she loved working with her team. She always, whatever project she had, whatever challenge we had in the office, she would always call us together and strategize as a team, and she would include everybody, whether it's support staff or legal staff, or even if we need the help of the caretaker, everybody will be involved, and we will tackle the problem together, basically. Donna had a passion for the community. She worked closely with the community advice officers. She had good relationships with the stakeholders in general. If she couldn't help clients, she would refer them to the relevant organization that can help them. She loved working with the street committees. She loved working with housing committees. In general, she had a good relationship with stakeholders and community-based organizations. Donna did not like litigation, and she would always motivate us to mediate matters, and she would always try and mediate matters. It doesn't matter what type of matter it is, whether it's a mass eviction, whether it's a children's court matter, whether it's a domestic violence matter. It doesn't matter what type of matter it is, Donna would find a way to mediate the matter. I guess this would have made her a perfect fit at the family advocate as well, because she really believed in mediation and coming to a peaceful resolution in any matter, and also in general. Donna had a passion for people. She had a passion for the law. She had a passion for justice. She had a passion for social justice in particular. And if we want to pay a legacy forward, and and if we want Donna to live on in our hearts, we will be kind to each other, we will be generous, we will be loving, we will respect each other, and we will continue the fight for social justice. I thank you for listening, and to Donna's family, I want to say that I hope that the memories you shared with Donna will comfort you during this time.
Miss me, but let me go. When I come to the end of the road and the sun is set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not too long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that we once shared? Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey that we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all part of the master's plan, a step on the road to home. When you are lonely and sick of heart, go to the friends we know, and bury your sorrows in doing good deeds. Miss me, but let me go. Author unknown.
All is Well by Henry Scott Holland. Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used to. Put no difference in your tone, wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well.
Good evening.
My name is Jill Fortuin, and I'll be paying tribute to my late sister Donna Fortuin. This all feels very surreal to me. It feels like it's not happening, but it is. My one and only younger sister, Donna Fortuin, passed away at age 40 due to COVID-19 complications on the 6th of January 2021. Before I pay tribute to Donna, I would like to say thank you on behalf of myself and my family to the Women's Legal Center for creating this opportunity to keep her memory alive. In paying tribute to Donna, I need to recognize the important role that God has played in her life. He has not only blessed us with her, but He's seen her through very, very tough times and elevated her and built her up to be the outstanding person that she was. I also need to recognize the important role that my parents have played in Donna's life. They had instilled important values in her life, values of hard work, commitment, loyalty, and volunteerism. They've made many sacrifices to ensure that she goes down the road of being a legal practitioner. One of these big sacrifices was my mom actually steering Donna in the correct direction. Donna actually had a change of heart, and she wanted to study human movement studies. And my mom pulled out all the stops to make sure that she goes down this road. And for a while, Donna even rebelled against my mom. But once she found a niche, there was no stopping Donna in the legal fraternity. She was ambitious, she was a hard worker, she was a go-getter, and she was going to take it all the way. Donna was an exemplary teacher. She always made time for people, for students, for candidate attorneys, for her peers, anyone that needed her help. She would make the time to not only teach but provide advice and guidance. Donna was a diligent, studious, enthusiastic legal practitioner who believed firmly in fairness and justice. Donna received the highest accolades any legal practitioner could want. Those were not awards or trophies. Instead, those with the accolades included the respect and recognition from her peers and her mentors. The respect and recognition was for her legal abilities and her legal knowledge. Donna also received the same type of accolade from her clients, which was that they gave her constant praise and were always satisfied with the work that she provided for them. Donna lived by the principles of Ubuntu. When translated to English, it is defined as humanity. What it actually describes is, I am because we are. Donna was because we are. She was an extraordinary, kind, knowledgeable, passionate person, and this was evident through the many people's lives which she touched. And this is what made her such an amazing individual. She was the universal link that connected all of us, living and enjoying life as a collective. She showed us that humanity is a quality which we owe to people. This humanitarian quality is what motivated her in her legal profession and beyond. Donna had many, many more ambitions to fulfill. She had so much more to give in the legal sphere. From being a thought leader to advocating for social injustices amongst the marginalized and vulnerable individuals and communities. And also she wanted to further her abilities to being a teacher in the legal profession. Donna, my sister, what a life you have lived. What a legacy you leave behind. Your death leaves such heartbreak, pain and grief that nobody can heal. You have left us with these awesome memories that no one can steal. I invite everybody to keep her Ubuntu, humanitarian spirit, and legacy alive. Thank you so much.
Good day, everybody, family and friends of Donna. My name is Zaibunisa Khan, affectionately known to Donna as Advocate Khan or just Khan. Donna, I'm going to miss you. We started out at the Office of the Family Advocate, and we've shared too many memories to mention. May your soul rest in eternal peace, my friend, until we meet again in heaven. Love you and will miss you forever.
I was fortunate enough to have known Donna for a number of years through work, and then more specifically to work with her at the Women's Legal Centre last year. She was a phenomenal woman and with incredible integrity, fantastic sense of humour. And what I really enjoyed about her, amongst all her incredible work, was that she managed to keep the office very well stocked with star toffees. I was reintroduced to those after many, many years of not having them in my life. She made very sure that we always were well stocked. And yeah, we will miss her terribly. I found a quote a couple of days ago by the Dalai Lama, which I thought encapsulated Donna perfectly. Something like this: generosity is the most natural outward expression of an inner attitude of compassion and loving kindness. And I think that encapsulates Donna. Go well.
I met Donna not a long time ago, but it felt like I knew Donna forever because Donna had a heartbeat that resonated with mine. We gelled immediately like sisters. We knew each other, but only got to work together very recently. So Donna, I want to say, Donna was this kind, unassuming fighter for injustice towards women in communities, specifically where we were going to work together. We looked forward to this, Donna, but we're going to make a huge difference with the Women's Legal Centre in your honor. Rest in peace, sister, and arise in glory.
Without fail, Donna filled a room with so much joy and so much light and so much kindness. She truly was such a remarkable soul. In the short space of time that I have gotten to know her, I am so grateful that I had an opportunity to share so many things with her. We have lost Donna, but heaven has surely gained an angel. Her kindness and her overwhelming light is something that I will cherish forever.
Backing off and I'm like, bro, this isn't too much Antonio also. She said, oh, then something is wrong because the kingdom was flying to that police station. So she said, well, see you, darling, I see you. I'm like, wait till we find him. How are you? All right, with you. Nice. What you too? I said, she's finishing now, but shame and she's looking for something now.
It's a historical moment, guys, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just love this. Yeah, this.
Hello, I'm Mandim Darikwa. I was Donna's colleague at the Women's Legal Centre. In the short space of time that I got to know Donna, I knew her to be hardworking, dedicated, compassionate, kind, and always helpful. We have lost a great warrior in fighting for the advancement of women's rights at the centre. Donna, you will be missed, always. You left a mark and it will always be remembered. May you rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Donna Gail Fortuin, A woman of true stature, always ready to assist wherever the opportunity came. Now you have been called for a higher purpose. Yes, the 28th of October will never be the same again. Your presence will be dearly missed. You visited me in a dream, assuring me that everything will be as it always has been. And for that, my friend, I salute you. Love and light always.
So the first time I met Dons and my actual first interaction, like one-on-one interaction with her, we were going to Atlantis Magistrates Court. And it ended up feeling like a therapy session because I was just rambling on and Donna was like my therapist, giving me advice on anything and everything that I was saying. And she had encouraged me to postpone the matter. I ended up not postponing it mainly because Donna made me so scared, telling me about all these staunch Afrikaner magistrates that would speak Afrikaans to you. And I couldn't remember the last time I was obligated to speak Afrikaans. So naturally, I opted out. Dons did the postponements, and then we obviously spoke the whole way back. And then I think we just clicked from there, and I used to literally just go to her office and sit on the floor with my laptop while she was working. Even if I didn't need anything, I think I just really liked being around her. Donna was very encouraging. She would always encourage me and motivate me to contribute in meetings and to share my perspective. I think a lot of the times prior to meetings and when I had ideas, I would bounce it off of her and she'd be like, oh my gosh, you should really share that. And then in the meeting, I'd freeze. And then she'd be texting me, why aren't you talking? Really such a brilliant and thoughtful mentor. Donna always had a slow mag to give and dried fruit and sweets. She'd be at Clicks and she'd call me. She'd be like, oh, I just saw chocolate. I know you don't like sweets, but I think you'd like this chocolate. It will help you like boost your energy. She was always leaving little things at my desk, on my desk. I think my favorite memory of her very close to our office closing, my family and I decided that we wouldn't be going home because we were all concerned that one of us would contract COVID and then would give it to my mom, and my mom is quite old. And so Donna got me these incense sticks that my mom actually has as well, the exact same that my mom uses, so that my place can smell like my mom's, since I wouldn't be going home for December for the first time in forever. And I'd forgotten that I'd ever even mentioned these incense sticks, but Donna got them for me just before our office closed. And I thought that was like, it's just testament to the person that Donna was. Also, she had a story about everyone. Like, Donna knew people's names and surnames, and she also had a story attached to them when she met them. And it was always the most hilarious story. I felt like whenever I met people that Donna had spoken about, I'd be like, I know what you did. So, yeah.
On behalf of the Women's Legal Center, it is now my privilege to thank you all for joining us this afternoon in celebrating the life of Donna. Donna, for many of us, was a friend, a colleague, a mentor, a leader, and an inspiration. So we thank Donna for the legacy that she leaves behind. We'd like to say thank you to everyone who contributed to the afternoon celebration, and also a thank you to Donna's family and her parents for giving her to us. We remain grateful for the times that we all had and that we were able to spend with her. May her legacy continue to inspire us all. I thank you.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky. the sweet silver sound of a love. Walk on